This is the male reproductive system, and these are the internal parts of the male reproductive system. The urinary bladder, that is located here, is a hollow elastic organ that functions as the body's urine storage tank. The urinary bladder is a muscular sac in the pelvis, just above and behind the pubic bone. When empty, the bladder is about the size and shape of a pear. The urethra, that is located here, is the passageway between the bladder and the external part of the body, which allows urine to be expelled from the body. The urethra is a thin muscular tube that begins at the lower opening of the bladder and extends to the pelvic and urogenital diaphragms to the outside of the body. The penis, that is located here, is the male sex organ, reaching its full size during puberty. In addition to the sexual function, the penis acts as a conduit for urine to leave the body. The seminal vesicle, that is here, holds the liquid that mixes with sperm to form semen. This gland is located behind the bladder, above the prostate gland, and in front of the rectum. It's about 2 inches long on average. The prostate, that is here, secretes fluid that nourish and protect sperm. During ejaculation, the prostate squeezes its fluid into the urethra and is expelled with sperm as semen. The prostate squeezes this fluid into the urethra and is expelled with sperm as semen. Sorry, I said that twice, sorry. The prostate is a walnut-sized gland located between the bladder and the penis. The vas deferens, are here, is a tiny muscular tube in the male reproductive system that carries sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct. There is a pair of these ducts in the male body, with one duct carrying sperm from each test to the left and right ejaculatory ducts. The epididymis, that is this one, is a long coiled tube that stores sperm and transports it from the testes. It appears as a curved structure on the posterior, that means back, margin of each test. The testes are the male gonads that make sex hormone and produce sperm. They are found inside of the scrotum, which lie outside the abdominal cavity. The scrotum, or scrotal sac, is a part of the external male genitalia located behind and underneath the penis. It is a small muscular sac that contains and protects the testicles, blood vessels, and part of the spermatic cord. This is the sperm path. We begin with the maturation. The sperm mature in the epididymis. Then we continue in the second step, the storage and transfer. The muscle construction causes sperm to move from the epididymis to the vas deferens. We can see it right here. In the third part, the delivery, the sperm move through the ejaculatory duct into the urethra, where they can be expelled, as we can see right here. And at ejaculation, approximately 300 million sperm cells are expelled as part of a fluid called semen. This is the external male genitalia that consists of the penis and the scrotum. The penis is the male organ of sexual intercourse. It has a long shaft and an enrolled tip called the glans penis, which is covered at birth by a layer of foreskin. And the scrotum, or scrotal sac, is a part of the external male genitalia located behind and underneath the penis. It is the small muscular sac that contains and protects the testicles, blood vessels, and part of the spermatic cord. The hormonal regulation of the male reproductive system. The hypothalamus, that is located in the brain, ultimately controls the function of the testes because it secretes a hormone called catecholamine-releasing hormone, or as we commonly know it, GnRH. That hormone stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to secrete the FSH and the LH. The FSH goes to Sertoli cells to inhibit and stimulate the spermatogenesis. The hormonal regulation of the male reproductive system. The hypothalamus, located in the brain, ultimately controls the function of the testes because it secretes a hormone called GnRH. That stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to secrete the gonadotropic hormones that control the testes. Those hormones are the FSH and the LH. In males, FSH promotes the production of sperm in the seminiferous tubes, and LH promotes the production of testosterone by the intestinal cells. All these hormones are controlled by negative feedback systems, which maintains the production of sperm and testosterone within normal range. The estrogen, it develops the signal spermatogenesis. It's produced in the adipose tissue and in the brain, and it is controlled also by negative feedback. The progesterone regulates the blood sugar, building mass regulating brain activity, developing intelligence and body function. It is produced in the adrenal gland and testes, and it is also controlled by negative feedback systems. The testosterone, that is the principal hormone in the man, promotes secondary sex characteristics. Now we are listing some of the anticonceptives methods. First one is the abstinence. That means having no sexual intercourse at all. It has an effectiveness of 100%, and the risk are a lack of sex and depression. Vasectomy. It is a surgical procedure for male sterilization. It has a permanent contraception, and the effectiveness is of 99%. The risks are pain in the testicles. The IUD. It causes change in endometrium that prevents implantation. It is a small contraceptive device. It has an effectiveness of 99%, and the risks are infection, pregnancy complications. The diaphragm. It stops most sperms from passing to the cervix. The spermicide kills most of the sperm that gets by, and it has an effectiveness of 84%. The risks are vaginal infection and urinary infection. The male condom. The characteristics are that it is a latex-based covering placed over an erected penis. It prevents sperm from reaching the female reproductive tract, and it has an effectiveness of 85%. The risks are allergy to latex, and condom might break during sex. The female condom. The characteristics is that there are two flexible things connected via polyethylene set. The effectiveness is of 79%. The risk is that the condom may break, the condom splits out of the vagina, and the higher failure rate. The female sterilization. It is a procedure designed to make a woman infertile, blocking the fallopian tubes so sperm can reach an egg and fertilize it. The effectiveness is of 99%. The risk is that the sterilization can fail and bleed might damage other organs. The withdrawal, or coitus interruptus. The characteristic is that the man withdraws the penis from the vagina before the orgasm. It has an effectiveness of 73%. The risks are worse ineffectiveness, ineffective against STDs, and it is difficult to do. The vaginal ring. A small flexible ring a woman inserts into her vagina once a month to prevent pregnancy. It is left in place for 3 weeks. It has an effectiveness from 97 to 99%. The risks are strokes, heart attack, and death, but also irritation. The morning after pill. The characteristic is that the ovaries cease secretion of estrogen and progesterone, the breakdown of the endometrium. The effectiveness is 75%. The risks are nausea, vomit and fatigue, headache, and menstrual changes. The method effective against STDs. There are only 3 anticonceptives that are effective against this sickness, and they are the male condom, the female condom, and the abstinence. Any new anticonceptive that work against STD must prevent the contact between skins. The female reproductive organ. These are the internal organs of the female reproductive system. The uterine tube carries an egg from the ovary to the uterus. Unless it has suffered a surgery, women should have two uterine tubes. You can see the two uterine tubes right here. The ovary is a reproductive gland in which the reproductive cells are made from the females. Females have two ovaries, here and here, held by a membrane near the uterus on each side of the lower abdomen, here and here. The ovaries are important in reproduction since they are responsible for production of female reproductive cells. Uterine cervix attaches the vagina to the uterus. It is 4 cm long and it extends into the vaginal canal, but the length may vary depending on the age. The cervix produces a mucus that helps in carrying sperm from the vagina to the uterus, where it can fertilize an egg if the woman is in ovulation. If a woman is in ovulation, the mucus thickens and it has the function of a barrier to keep sperm out of the uterus. The uterine cervix can be found right here. The uterus is located between the bladder and the rectum. In the pelvic area, it has 3 layers: the inner lining, the middle muscular layer, and the outer layer. The uterus is connected to the fallopian tubes, cervix, and the vagina. The main function of the uterus is to nourish a fetus prior to birth. When the uterus is fertilized, the eggs will bind themselves to a wall of the uterus, and the fetus will develop the uterus to protect the fetus until birth. The uterus can be found right here. The external female reproductive organs. These are the external female reproductive organs. The labia majora are rounded folds of skin, and adipose. Their function is to protect the inner, more delicate, sensitive structure of the vulva, such as the labia minora, clitoris, urinary office, and the vaginal orifice. You can find it right there. The labia minora are a pair of thin cutaneous folds that form a part of the external female genitalia. They protect the clitoris, urinary office, and the vaginal orifice, and they are found right here. The mons pulse secretes a security pad for protecting organs from harm. The gland clitoris is a small, sensitive organ located at the top of the vulva, and its function is mainly to provide pleasure. The opening of the urethra is a tube connected to the urinary bladder and the genitals. It collects and stores urine until it's ready to be discharged. The opening of the vagina is a muscular canal that extends from the cervix to the outside of the female body. It holds all the parts that compose the reproductive system. The oocyte transportation, fertilization, and implantation. We can find right here the traveling path of the oocyte and the day it occurs. The fertilization takes place in a section of the fallopian tubes, the ampulla to be specific. The fertilized eggs moves to the uterus where it develops until birth, right here. The endometrial layer is where the implantation takes place, right here. The layer experiences morphologic and functional changes that are closely associated with the cyclic release of sexual hormones. The hormonal regulation of female reproductive system. These are the main part of the female hormones. They, like the male hormones, are produced by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. They have the exact same hormones as the male. The FSH stimulates ovary to produce steroids, and it is produced in the mate cycle. Like the FSH, the LH also stimulates ovary to produce steroids, and it's also produced in the mate cycle. The testosterone, it growth, maintenance, and repair of the reproductive system. It is produced in the ovaries. The GnRH signals the release of SH and LH critical for successful reproductive system, and it is produced in the hypothalamus. And we can see here at the diagram of the progesterone that maintains pregnancy-preparing body for conception and regulating menstrual cycle that is produced in the ovaries, and the estrogen that produces the female sexual characteristics, and it also produces in the ovaries. All of these hormones have a negative feedback system for controlling them. And here we have an image of the ovarian and the uterine cycle. The ovarian cycle is divided into three phases. During the follicular phases, the FSH released by the anterior pituitary gland stimulates the development of a follicle in one of the ovaries. As the follicle matures, oogenesis is initiated and continues, and the epithelial cells of the follicle multiply and secrete the female sex hormones, mainly estrogen. This happens from day 1 to day 14, approximately. Next is the ovulation, where the estrogen spike causes the secretion of GnRH from the hypothalamus, which in turn causes a surge of LH from the anterior pituitary gland, resulting in ovulation on about day 14 in a 28-day cycle. Ovulation is the release of the secondary oocyte from the follicle and into the oviduct. After day 14 begins the last phase of the ovarian cycle, the luteal phase, where the LH promotes the development of the corpus luteum, which consists of the follicle cells left behind after ovulation. And this is the ovarian cycle. Next is the uterine cycle. The menstruation lasts from day 1 to approximately day 15 and consists of the breakdown of endometrium with blood passing out of the vagina. The second phase is the proliferative phase. It is from day 6 to day 13 and consists of the void-up of the endometrium, which becomes more vascular and glandular. The third phase, known as the secretory phase, and also the last phase, is from day 15 to day 28 and consists of the endometrium doubling or tripling in thickness and uterine glands producing a thick mucus secretion. The secretion of progesterone by the corpus luteum causes the secretory phase. The endometrium is not prepared to receive a developing embryo. If fertilization and implantation do not occur, the corpus luteum will degenerate, resulting in lower levels of sex hormones that will lead to the breakdown of the endometrium and to the menstruation.